all times. So that, pen to paper, it's old-fashioned, but I really, really do believe in the power of it. So, don't knock it until you try it, I guess. But also you have to have patience with it, because it's not like you're going to write something down, become a millionaire, and the next day, you got the right lottery numbers. So I just want to be honest about that one. Okay. Next, the importance of a physical workspace. We just moved into a new apartment in New York, and I have an office. And this is the first time I've had an office in my apartment. And I work for myself, being an entertainment journalist. I freelance for many, many publications, and I run my t-shirt company with my sister and working on the show. So I don't have a company that I go to every day and work there. So I have an office. Now, if you don't have, an office in your home, or you don't have a place in your home, that's okay. It doesn't have to be in your home. It could be a coffee shop. It could be a hotel lobby, like, the Crowne Plaza. I used to write, I've been working on a novel for, like 7 years. I don't know if it's ever going to get done, but I'll consult this list when I sit back down to write it. But I used to write in the W Hotel in New York City. So the importance of really creating a workspace for yourself. Now again, I'm not just talking about work. I'm talking about whatever goals, personal or professional, you're really looking to reach. Setting aside a workspace and, kind of just putting little things around that remind you of where you want to go and what you want to be doing it's such a powerful thing just to have a place for yourself. Maybe even just as simple as having a comfy pillow on whatever chair, you're sitting on. Laptops are amazing because we can work from anywhere. But sometimes they're not, because you can, lay in bed and be on your laptop. You can be in your laptop on the car, hopefully not while you're driving. You can be on your laptop, at your kid's soccer game. But really turning your laptop kind of into a desktop is the way to do it. Like, I have a mug on my desk from a magazine called Inside TV that you definitely have never heard of. It folded 6 months after it launched. It was launched by TV Guide, but it was the job that brought me from Bucks County, Pennsylvania to New York City. So I have that mug, and that's my pen and pencil holder. And it's just kind of a reminder of, taking a second to reflect on how far, I've come and kind of, just what I've accomplished so far. And that brings me to my next point. Ladies, wherever it is in your home, if you have an office, it could be in your bathroom vanity, it could be in your closet, it could be on your nightstand. You have to make a little tiny shrine to yourself. Okay, now I'm not saying, get all high on yourself here and, let's all be like really vain and talk about how great we are. But honestly, if you don't take a second to really be proud of yourself and all of your accomplishments, who's going to? Your parents, maybe, your husband, your best friend, but you're the one really that is your biggest cheerleader. So when I say a shrine to yourself, I'm not saying, wall-to-wall, wallpaper of your face over and over again, okay? Like, let's not take this to the extreme. But what I am talking about is really kind of just highlighting your accomplishments. I have always had my college diploma in my bedroom. When I moved out of my family's house to Doylestown, I had it there. I had it in my first apartment on 54th Street in New York. I had it in the first apartment my fiance and I lived in, and he thought I was nuts. But frankly, I felt very proud of myself that I graduated from college. I felt very thankful that my family, gave me that opportunity and that I took advantage of it. I, felt very proud that I had a journalism degree. It's not about saying, I'm so great. It's really just about saying, you did a good job. And you need to keep remembering it, especially during all of kind of the low points that we hit. Because sometimes you're up and sometimes you're down. And honestly, you can be Beyonce or you can be a homeless person on the street. You have ups and downs, period. It's human nature. So I think, I've always said, putting kind of a little shrine to yourself just so that you can have a daily reminder of the great things that you have done. It almost acts like fuel in your tank to keep doing amazing things. I framed the flyer for this event, and I have it hanging in my office because this is a true honor to be asked to come here today and speak to such a wonderful, wonderful group of women. And so, I want to remember that. I want to remember it past today. So, shrine to yourself. Believe me, I'm not crazy. It works. Okay. Moving on. Be your own publicist. Does anybody in this room work in PR? Okay, I figured we'd have some publicists in here. So I have a personal publicist now that is such an amazing person. She's a career magician, she's a friend, she's a mentor, she's a manager, she's wonderful. But I didn't have her for my whole career. And you know, you really are, no matter what field you're in, everybody is in a publicity and a sales job. Because you are constantly selling yourself. And I'm not saying, you know, make things up about yourself or force yourself upon people. I'm saying you are the only person that can present your genuine self, the person that you really are. Not when you're on a date and this guy says that he really loves motorcycles and you say, oh, I love the motorcycles too, and you've never been on a motorcycle. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. But really, you know, when it comes to career and personal life and those sorts of things, you know, and really making use of your time and getting to that next level that you really want to get to, being your own personal publicist is so, so important. Men, you know, it's funny because we talked about the Sheryl Sandberg book, and, you know, men are just trained always to be very strong and confident and present themselves, you know, in a very honest way and that sort of thing. And women, in a way, are sometimes encouraged to be a little bit more humble. And humility will take you a long way. I'm not discouraging humility, but it's so common for women to sell themselves short. So make sure that you are your own best publicist and your own best salesperson in whatever venture you're working on next and whatever direction you're going in next. If you're writing a book and you're cold calling, you know, editors and you're cold calling agents, you have to sell yourself, because even if you do have a publicist, and mine is amazing and I love her, no one is going to do it as good as you do. So very important to remember that. 3 more tips. Use your ears. This is seems like a really simple one, but you know, I'm very, very scatterbrained. I'm a Virgo, so I can be, you know, doing a million things at once, and I'm sure many people in this room can. As women, we are natural multitaskers. I mean, can men multitask better than women? No. I mean, if I tell my fiance to take out the trash and, you know, get the table ready for dinner, I come back and he's sitting on the couch watching Family Guy. So basically, this comes down to finding a way. Now, if you have a limited amount of time, you know, you send your kids off to school, or, you know, you're getting through your morning meetings, and now you have a limited, finite amount of time, 30 minutes, in which you're going to sit down and you're going to work on, you know, your business plan for this company that you're starting with your best friend, or you're going to work on, you know, 1 chapter of the novel that you're writing, or whatever the project is. The most difficult thing, especially in this day and age with the internet, is focusing. Does anybody have trouble focusing? Because I have a lot of trouble focusing. Sometimes I sit there and I look at, like, all my nails are bitten off. I'm like, what's wrong with me? I mean, so I found a way to really get in the zone. How many people have heard of, you know, all of these different music apps on iPads and iPhones, like Pandora and this sort of thing? Okay. Has anybody in here heard of Songza? Mm-hmm. Oh, you have? Oh, yes. Okay, good. I'm so happy. So Songza is an app that my little sister, who goes to University of Scranton, by the way, introduced to me. And I can't say enough good things about this app. By the way, they're not paying me to say this. I just want to be very clear about this. Songza is a music concierge, and you can download it for free on any of your devices. And when you open it, it says, it's Friday morning. What are you doing? You know, singing in the shower. Like, what are you looking for music for? Singing in the shower, working without lyrics, waking up happy. And then you click whatever mood that you're in or whatever you're doing. You know, in the evening they have cooking and things like that. And then it gives you a few more options and you go through, and it customizes a playlist for you. I can't tell you how much this app has increased my productivity. I mean, just to sit down and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to sit here for 5 songs. And as much as I get done on my to-do list in 5 songs, that's what I'm going to be done with. And then I'm going to move on to the next conference call that I have or whatever it is. Music can be so unbelievably powerful to really evoke emotions, but to get you productive, I can't say enough good things about it. Okay. Jealousy. Now, jealousy is a human emotion that we have all had at one point or another. It has a very, very negative connotation. But I actually think that there's a way that you can work jealousy, as long as you're not being crazy about it, to your advantage. If you look at someone that you may be envious of or jealous of, you know, your neighbor a few doors down, you know, oh, she really seems like she has the greatest life, her kids are so cute, you know, I love her van, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, sorry, I love her Ferrari. You know, I've found that sometimes the people that we feel jealous about, and there's nothing to feel guilty about being jealous, it's natural. Sometimes the people that we feel jealous about can actually serve as great inspiration. When I first started out doing TV at the National Enquirer, I was reporting on all sorts of celebrity news and that sort of thing. There was a girl in the office that was the on-air personality for Star magazine. And she was beautiful, and she had this hot husband, and she had this great job, and she was going on all the shows, and I was jealous of this chick. But you know what? I started to look at what she was doing, and I started to say to myself, well, you know what? Maybe in a way, she can kind of be a mentor without really knowing it. So I started to look at what she was doing, and I'm not saying copy people, because you have to be original, obviously, but I started to look at what she was doing, and I felt, you know, that the jealousy was becoming less and less, and it was more becoming inspiration. That I was less jealous of her and more inspired by her. So I always kind of looked at that, because Theodore Roosevelt said one of my favorite quotes, and I'm not a big quoting person. Like, I had to actually look it up to see who said this. I only knew the quote. Now I forget it. Comparison is the thief of joy. And I cannot stress enough that this is something that I live by, because you will waste so much time that you could be productive working on your own platform and your own projects, sitting around and thinking about who's prettier, who's further along in their career, who has the better book. I mean, I could sit here and I could tell you probably 5,000 wouldn't even be the right number. Like, I don't even know. A number that I wouldn't even know how to say. People that are that much further along than me in their career. But the bottom line is, you are where you are. And you've gotten yourself there by hard work and by determination and by dedication. So who cares about those other people? You have to focus on yourself, and if you feel jealousy, because, come on now, who's with me? We all have at one point or another, right? It's great to just channel it into something positive. Okay, last but not least, ladies, the F word. I'm going to keep this G-rated. There's children in the audience. Failure. Failure is really a tough word. It comes into, you know, our vocabulary all the time, right? Who's with me? I mean, who has used the word failure? I see a lot of heads nodding, right? You know, people say, oh, you know, forget about it, banish it. No, it's a word that you're going to use time and time again. So let's figure out a way around it. Failure is spelled F-A-I-L-U-R-E, okay? So I say, failure is just a word for what you are going to do next. So we all get to these points where we're at a roadblock, where we want to do something and people tell us, no, you're not good enough, the timing's not right, you're not pretty enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not rich enough, whatever it is. The bottom line is, failure is just a word for what you are going to do next. When I was starting out in my journalism career, I was very discouraged about getting into this industry. It's very, very competitive. You're certainly not doing it for the money in the beginning. And, you know, I went to the Intelligencer in Doylestown for a summer internship. I applied there. They brought me in for an interview. I was 99% sure that the summer before my senior year, I would be interning at the Intelligencer. It was the perfect job. I thought I was perfect for it. I didn't get it. I went back to GW my senior year. I did an internship at the Legal Times that fall. Then I got my internship at People magazine. And I called that woman. And I said, hope your year's been going well. I know that you didn't give me the internship last summer, but I'm graduating this year. And these are the things that I've done since I came in last summer for my interview. would you consider me for this summer's internship? And she said, let me call you back. She called me back and she said, we will consider you for the internship this summer. In fact, we don't even need you to come back for an interview. Tell me a little bit about what you've done. I told her. She said, okay, you're hired. So failure, always think about it as what you are going to do next. Because it doesn't mean it's the end, and it doesn't mean that, that you're a nobody. It doesn't mean that, life is against you. It just means that you have to, regroup, think of your next game plan, what's your next inroad, what's your next strategy, and what are the next things you're gonna do to get to that place that you wanna be. So, ladies, it's been a complete pleasure. I hope that I have imparted some really interesting, new, and actually useful tips for you. Because it's not really enough for me to stand up here and say, be a go-getter, be confident. I can't make you any of those things. You can really only make yourself that. And use your time as wisely as possible to accomplish all of your dreams and goals. Thank you so much for having me.